Good morning, good morning. So, is your career in a rut? Do you just find yourself doing the same old, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out? Well, maybe it's time for a change. But how are you going to bring that change about? This is James Foster and Careers Matter. So, I think, when I speak to people and one of the questions I ask them is regarding their career, regarding where they feel they are with their career, and a very common answer I get back is almost that their career is almost a secondary concern, not concern, but a secondary thing. They're not really planning it. It's one of those things that's just happening to them. So people, instead of really having a career that invigorates them and gives them something to get up for in the morning, it's a chore. It's a thing that they do, that they have to do because they have to earn money, and that bit between the weekends is an essential part of paying the bills. Not really a good thing, considering how much of our lives we spend involved with the work that we do, the way that we earn that money to pay the bills is quite an important part of who we are and what we do. And it's really quite a shame that so many people feel that way, that all they do is get up in the morning, go to work, come home, go to bed for 5 days a week, and then they can enjoy themselves at the weekend. It's and it is a way, that is how some people feel. Not everybody's like that, I know. Some people actually get a buzz, a kick out of what they do, and that can be you. But you've got to really understand why your career is in a rut in the first place. What has brought you to this place? Why you are, why the job that you do is just so unimportant to you in terms of, the amount of yourself that you put into it, as it were. And the enjoyment that you get out of doing it. It's, you're doing it, you're going to do it for 40, 50 years, probably getting on for 50 years of your life. You're going to be working. All right, that sounds quite drastic when you sort of put it that way, but we are working till we're virtually 70. And we start work at around, after university, I suppose you're probably 22, 23. When I started work, I was 17. And I'm probably not going to retire much before I'm 70, if I retire at all, because I don't really regard life as or rather, I don't really regard that I need it to retire. I will stop work when I have to stop work, and not before. So it really makes sense that we're enjoying what we're doing for that period of time, and that we've got something in it that's going to deliver to us a return on the investment that we put in, and not just the money, because we do have to earn that money, of course we do, but it's far better if what we do is what we want to do and what we get a kick out of and a buzz out of. So how are you going to go about changing that? Well, it's small things to start with, and an accumulation of small things. So if you're in a rut, if you picture the idea of a cart in a rut, which is where the expression came from, it was very difficult to get out of that rut because the wheels had worn into the road so much that they became entrenched in there, and you couldn't steer out of it too easily. So the first thing to do is just small differences, and that's actually head off. Just make a slight different change in direction, a very slight different change in direction, and initially you'll feel that you're still going the same way, but eventually the pull, if you like, of the horse on the carriage will actually bring you out of that rut. and set you on a completely different path. And then the smaller changes that you accumulate will end up, will ensure that that things in your life become completely different, and that you actually start on a completely fresh new path that is leading somewhere that is just not the same as it was before, if you see what I mean. And to start that, you've got to start thinking about what the path is that you should be on. What is and to start that, you start by thinking, what is it that I'm doing at the moment that makes this feel like I'm in a rut? And usually that has to do with familiarity. It has to do with boredom. With you become so used to what you're doing that there is no challenge in it anymore. That there is no excitement in it. You don't have anything that really is stimulating you. That's where this feeling comes from. It's that the job does itself. That's the idea of a rut, isn't it? You don't steer the cart; it's there. It's going. The wheels are fixed and locked in the direction they're going in, and you don't have to do anything at all to affect where it's going to go. And that's how the job feels. So it's become too familiar. It's become too easy. It's become something that just happens and isn't controlled, and controlled isn't the right word, but isn't, it isn't stimulating anymore. And that's what you've got to start looking at, is what's going to stimulate you. What challenges do you want? What excites you? Why did you start in the job in the first place? What was it that brought you to where you are? And what is it that's now missing that used to be there? So it's looking at those things, and then looking at the little changes that you can make. Taking on a new challenge in the job that you're doing would be a good start. Just asking your boss if there's something that he needs done that maybe you can help him with, that's going to give you a challenge, that's going to stimulate you to achieve something that you've not achieved for a while. Maybe you want to take on responsibility, mentoring somebody, but helping them to develop and grow into the work that they are doing. Maybe that would help you. There's little things that you can do in the job that you're in right now. You don't have to make a big change. You don't have to just throw that job away and move into something else. Maybe getting some training that will help you to actually take your career forward in a slightly different direction. So finding, so increasing the content and therefore learning and increasing your capabilities within the job. There are all sorts of things that you can ask yourself. And one of the things that I talk to people about when I'm, this is in my recruitment business or in my consultancy business, actually, one of the things I talk to them about is what does stimulate them, what does excite them, what sort of challenge do they like to get, do they like to have, and what do they feel would really motivate them and get them to want to get up in the morning, make it easier when the alarm clock goes off to get up. So it doesn't feel like a chore when you're going into work. And by asking those questions, it gets you thinking, and it helps you to actually start appreciating what it is that really will motivate and stimulate you. So we're coming up to 2021. This is my last or penultimate, actually. I'm going to do a video next week, which is going to be predominantly about planning for 2021. But this is when you're coming up to 2021. One of the things that everybody does when you reach the end of a year and look at the beginning of the next year is a review of where you are and where you want to be. And whether or not you pick that up and do something about it, everybody does think about it. It's sort of inevitable. You are reaching the end of something and the beginning of something else, even if that is only a calendar date. It does get you thinking in those sorts of terms, and it's a good thing. I think it's something that you should plan regularly anyway, every 2 or 3 months, to sit down and review where you are and where you're going and how you're going to get there. That's part of career planning. And what I would propose, well, not propose, what I would suggest that you do right now is take a serious look at where you are in your career, and whether or not you feel you're in a rut, and how you might get out of that rut. And if you want to talk about how you can look at that, I can provide a free consultation call with me to talk about where you are and where you want to get to. And of course, you know, we can help you then plan your next career step and how you're going to actually get on that new path, and how that is going to impact your life, and the things that you need to be looking at, and what you need to bring together to make that happen. So if you are of a mind at the moment that you want to do something different with your life, with your career, you want to freshen it up, book a call with us. There's a link with this video. You'll be able to book a 20-minute consultation call. There will be slots available next week, and certainly beginning of January I'll be really interested in having a chat with anybody that's interested to consider their career path and where it's going to go. This is James Foster, and Careers Matter.